The world's leading climate scientists have warned that there are only 12 years left for global warming to be kept to a maximum of 1.5 degrees Celsius, beyond which even half a degree will significantly worsen the risks of drought, floods, extreme heat, and poverty for hundreds of millions of people.
This is serious stuff.
It is. The report will be presented to governments at the UN Climate Conference in Poland at the end of this year. But analysts say there is much work to be done, with even pro-Paris deal nations involved in fossil fuel extraction that runs against the spirit of their commitments. Britain is pushing ahead with gas fracking, Norway with oil exploration in the Arctic, and the German government wants to tear down Humbuck forest to dig for coal.
Awesome. It's just awesome.
So it sounds like Britain, Norway and Germany are three proponents of the pro-Paris deal, right?
Yeah. And yet this is what they're doing.
Yeah. So, their actions are in direct contrast
to what they're saying they agree with.
Yep. And they're three powerful countries.
Yeah.
Wealthy and powerful. I mean,
and this is why we can't wait. Well, see, this is the thing.
That's why money talks and bullshit wars.
I know. We can't wait for governments to make these changes.
No.
So we need to make changes on an individual level.
Yep.
By switching to a plant-based diet, we can significantly counter what these governments are doing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
At the current level of commitments, the world is on course for a disastrous 3 degrees Celsius of warming. So if we don't change...
You kind of choked on those words then. Let's just read that again.
At the current level of commitments, basically what we're currently doing, the world is on course for a disastrous 3 degrees Celsius of warming.
I like how they just kind of slipped that in. So first of all, we're talking about we're getting close to 1.5.
Yeah, we've only got 12 years before we get there.
And we're trying to keep it at 1.5.
Lest it get to 2 and everything's pretty bad.
But if we keep going the way we're currently going, we're going to go way past 2 degrees.
Yeah.
We're going to hit 3 degrees Celsius. So here's all the terrible things that are going to happen at 2, which we're trying to pull back from.
Yep.
But most likely, because look at our track record as humans and look at what governments are currently doing, we can get to 3 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so bad.
It is. And they're saying, look at the difference in ramifications of 0.5 degree between 1.5 and 2. What about a full degree between 2 and 3?
So the article reads, would you eat slaughter-free meat?
Interesting headline, huh?
Yes, slaughter-free meat. What they're talking about is lab-grown meat.
Yeah. So there's a looming crisis over the world's growing appetite for meat. Could a chicken running around a farmyard in San Francisco hold the key to a solution? In 1931, Winston Churchill predicted that the human race would one day escape the absurdity of growing a whole chicken in order to eat the breast or wing by growing these parts separately under a suitable medium.
Did he actually say that? I mean, that's a quote there, so I'm assuming they are accurately quoting Churchill.
Yeah, I have my doubts, as you seem to be raising here as well.
That's extraordinary. If he actually did think that and say that, then that is quite an insight.
Quite an insight indeed.
Wow.
87 years later, that day has come as we discovered at Just, a food company in San Francisco where we tasted chicken nuggets grown from the cells of a chicken feather.
Isn't that incredible to think that they can take something from a chicken feather that will grow into meat, into flesh?
Yeah, it is incredible. It's also incredible at how smart we are in some ways, like what you've just described.
And incredibly stupid in so many other ways, like just really simple basic things in life that we should know right from wrong. Yeah. And yet look at all these things that we can come up with and create, and it's like...
It's quite the dichotomy, isn't it?
Yeah, we're a weird species.
Yeah. And it also shows you how desperate we are to cling to eating animal products.
So much so.
Yeah.
So
Hence
much.
the resistance to change that a lot of people display have. The chicken, which tasted like chicken, was still alive, reportedly roaming on a farm not far from the laboratory. This meat is not to be confused with the vegetarian plant-based burgers and other meat substitute products which are gaining popularity in supermarkets.
Now, what they mean is that this is actually animal flesh.
Yeah, so they're not talking about a Beyond Meat burger?
No, it's not a plant-based alternative. It is animal flesh that comes from a cell, from a real living, breathing chicken that's still alive, but the cell is grown in a lab and grown into meat, into flesh. Yeah. So when you eat that, you're actually eating chicken flesh.
Yes.
It's not a plant.
No.
Yeah.
Are we going to talk? Can we talk about the ethics of that now or later?
Up to you.
Well, just in case I forget it later.
All right, say it now.
I want to say that what this doesn't do, this lab-grown meat, is it doesn't address speciesism.
No, and so
the use of animals.
Okay, we're going to get into the whole lab-grown meat now.
Or we'll get into it later.
Oh, okay, let's just do it now. We've started.
All right.
So people often ask us, what do we think of lab meat? Now, lab meat is not for vegans.
No.
Lab meat is for people who want to continue eating animal flesh irrespective of what it does.